Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Herbert Fenner. I am the president and founder of Invisible Inc. Inspirational Leadership and Development Program. At Invisible Inc., we specialize in personal development and leadership training. Also at Invisible Inc., we believe that it's your life story and that you can rewrite it if you want to. I just want to take a moment to talk to you about rewriting your story. First and foremost, let me say that everyone loves a great story. But the question is, what makes a story great? What makes a story good? Well, for me personally, I love a story where the underdog, the one who is counted out, the one who is dismissed, ends up on top. Because I can relate to that story. I can relate to being the underdog. I can relate to being the one who was counted out. Can relate to the one who was being said that I would never make it. I would never amount to anything. But despite those odds, despite those accusations, I was able to persevere. I was able to overcome. And I was able to overcome because I was resilient. I was able to overcome because I was optimistic. I was able to overcome because I understood that it was my life story and that I could rewrite it if I want to. You see, life is like a book. You know, you have different genres, you have different characters, you have different chapters. In my personal experience, you know, I lived a life at one time where I wasn't pleased with the role in which I was playing. You know, I was playing a role that was pretty much a menace, to society. I was playing a role that was headed, to prison or to the grave. And that role, it wasn't going to help me to reach my goals or fulfill my dreams. So I decided that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. I didn't want to end up dead at an early age. So in order to keep that from happening, I had to switch roles. I had to change characters. I had to examine myself. It was once said that the unexamined life is not worth living. So I began to examine myself. I began to ask myself some very challenging questions. And the question that I asked myself that ultimately changed my life was, who am I? And this was at the age of 21. 21 years old. I had done everything that I felt that I was big and bad enough to do. However, I didn't know who I was. So I think it's imperative that we begin with that question. Who are you? And I'm not talking about your name. I'm talking about who are you when no one else is looking? What makes you tick? What is your passion? What drives you? Because I truly believe that when one finds their passion, they find their purpose. So we're talking about rewriting your story. We're talking about changing characters. We're talking about switching roles. If you could change your character, and you can, what character would you be? What role would you play in your story? How does that role look? How does it play out from day to day? I just want you to take a moment and to envision yourself in your new role. What would you be wearing? What would you be doing? Who would you be doing it with? Who would you be around? Where would you be? In order to be it, I believe that you first have to see it. You have to be able to envision yourself. See yourself as the winner and not the loser. See yourself as the overcomer and not the victim. See yourself as the head and not the tail. See yourself above and not beneath. See yourself as the entrepreneur. See yourself as the author, as the motivational speaker, the inspirer, the intellectual, the lecturer, the teacher. You have to see it. Because if you can see it, you can be it. You can rewrite your story. It doesn't matter where you're at right now. It doesn't matter what you have and what you don't have, because if the truth be told, you have everything that it takes to rewrite your story, and you have today. Former President Barack Obama used to always say, we live in the fierce urgency of the now. And what he was actually saying is that yesterday is gone, tomorrow is not promised, and all we have is the now. So what are you doing right now? Because this is the defining moment. What are you doing to switch roles right now? What are you doing to change characters right now? What are you working on? How is your attitude? I have a question for you. As it pertains to your life, is the glass half full, or is the glass half empty? Now, there is no right or wrong answer to that. The answer is based on your perception. The answer is based on your perspective. If things in your life are not going the way that you intended to be, you would probably say, well, my life glass is half empty. But that's the attitude of a pessimist, not an optimist. Despite the challenges right now, you have to be an optimist. Despite the failures right now, you have to be an optimist. Because the definition of success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. So don't be afraid to fail. Just don't quit. Because quitters never win, and winners never quit. But failure is part of the process. Fail forward. We all heard it said that sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Well, that can be a defeated attitude. But the truth of the matter is, it's not sometimes you win or sometimes you lose. You lose. You lose. No, it's sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So, are you learning from your failures? Are you learning from your mistakes? Because if you are learning, then you will never lose. You'll always win. So I encourage you today to examine yourself. Take inventory and begin to rewrite your story. Change characters. Switch roles. This is invisible ink. It's your story, and you can rewrite it if you want to.